Hello everyone and welcome to the next in our series of daily origami for YouTube. Today we're going to continue with our theme of looking at some traditional origami, and we're going to make another kind of fun item I think for Easter really. This is a hen laying an egg, so it's a sort of action origami. We made something kind of similar to this with a little monkey that climbs up the tree, but this is sort of another sort of take on that with a more elaborate fold, but a really fun little trick if you're trying to impress some kids. This is a fun one, I think. So for this origami, you just need one piece of origami paper, but you will need scissors at the very end to make the egg, so sorry. I know some people hate that, but oh well. The paper I'm going to be using is 15 by 15 centimeters. I'll let you guys know the dimensions when we're finished, but we will be able to get one little hen and a little egg when we're done. So I'm going to start off with some orange paper just because I think it'll be a little easier for you guys to see. Obviously, ideally it'd be much better to use like a yellow or even like a really pale brown, because that would give you a really nice sort of space that the hen is sitting in, like and then like a basket almost, and then the egg itself. So, but we'll use an orange because it's a little easier to see. I want to start off here with this in a square base. So I'm going to start with my color side facing down, fold in half vertically and horizontally so that I know where my center is. Both of these parts folded over. Then taking it with the color side facing up, fold in half to make a nice big triangle here. Then look at the color side and find those mountain creases that make the horizontal and vertical creases. Pinch opposite sides and just sort of shimmy it around until you can get a nice diamond or square shape here. And then I want to make sure that I'm looking with those flat parts open at the top. And I'm going to take that first layer and fold it straight down to the bottom. And you don't want to pull too hard. There might be a little strain, so you might need to come just a little shy of that because you don't want to pull down apart and cause these side corners to tear. We get that part folded down, and then I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the same steps back here. Again, making sure that I don't put too much strain on the sides there. So I've got both of those folded over. Now I'm going to take this left flap and just fold it over to the right so I can see this big orange area here. Flip it over, do the same thing on this side too. So we get this nice diamond shape here in the middle of orange. And then I'm going to take the top right edge and roll it down into the center here. This is going to help create the area that's going to give us our hen. So I'll fold both of these sides into the middle. I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing on the other side too. So you should have something that looks like this. Then I'm going to take the left flap and fold it over to the right. Make sure this part here gets folded out to make a nice point. Flip it over, do the same thing again so that we're now looking at two sort of like ears to a bunny almost there at the top. Now I want to take one of these and we're going to make the tail feather section of our bird. I tend to work better if I can hold with my right and fold with my left, so I'm just going to kind of pinch here as I work. What I want to do is open up this part here, and I'm going to come up about 1 centimeter and allow this part to, if we get this part out of the way, I want to smush down on this mountain crease and make it a valley by reversing it down in so that I can pinch this point in my fingers and then adjust where this is going to be. Like I said, I want it to be just at about 1 centimeter or so, so I'm just going to find that point. And then I want this part to kind of come out at an angle so that the tip here essentially is even with this line, if you see it kind of continue out. So I'm just going to kind of push down there until it gets to a good size there. So I've got that part sort of folded out. And then I want to tuck all of this back in and kind of create a little section that sort of looks like tail feathers from my chicken. To do that, what I want to do is, if we open up and kind of flip it over from underneath, I want to fold this part inside. My chickens are so excited, they're like crowing outside. So, but we get that sort of tucked away, so you just get a tiny little bit sort of showing there, and then pinch it off. So that gives us sort of the nice little rounded back side of our bird. And then I'm going to just turn it around here so I can work easier. I'm going to work on the head now. Now I want it to kind of come to the same point as the tail feathers did here. So I can kind of imagine from that to sort of pinch there so it doesn't go beyond that. Get things reversed. And then on this one, I do want it to kind of come up at a fairly high angle. You probably want to kind of imagine that this part here that you're making is just not a 90 degree, maybe just a little past that. So get that part sort of started off there. And then I'm going to use this whole section here to go ahead and fold back inside. So if I open up, I want to fold back out and allow a little bit of this part here to still show. You don't want to come all the way to the crease. I do want to leave a little bit there to kind of create the head. And then I'm going to take, again, just one more time and bring it back out again to create the beak. And you want to just have it be just a tiny bit, and ideally if you can keep just a little of this out to create a tiny little bit back here, it looks like a cuter little sort of head. But that makes my beak awfully tiny. Kind of depends on how everything worked out for you and how much space you have left. My beak looks a little too small, so I'm just going to make it come in a little more. There we go. So you should wind up with something like this, where you've got this nice little chicken head and the nice little body part of the chicken. And then to sort of finish things off, I'm going to take this bottom layer, fold it straight up so that it comes to both of these points. Good crease there. And then I'm going to take that little bit that's extra and tuck it behind this pocket. So you can just kind of push it behind and create a crease there so it gets tucked away. Turn it over, do the same thing on this side too. So get this nice section made here. You can see how this kind of looks like maybe a little basket that your chicken's sitting in there. And then what we're going to do, or even just the bottom part of the chicken itself, sort of depends on how you're looking at it. But so this basic part's finished. Now the last little bit is to just cut off down here at the bottom, and you can kind of imagine you're cutting about in the middle of this area here. Try to cut straight right through there. So we have our finished little chicken here, and then I have this little bit that's left over, and I'm going to make this into just sort of a makeshift egg. I've got the parts that I just cut here and the point down at the bottom, and what I want to do is just take the left flap and push it to the right, and then fold down, bringing that to upper edge right to my center, so that I'm essentially kind of tucking, return it in, so that you're tucking the flap behind so that we don't see the flap anymore. I'm going to do the same thing on this side too, so that I wind up creating this nice little diamond shape. I know this is super tiny, but you want to get this nice little diamond shape here like this. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on this side too. And when you do that, you're just going to be matching these edges into the center there and then returning that flap to the side. Do the same thing over here. And this is going to create the nice little tiny diamond shape that we need, which is our finished egg. Now, it is true, it doesn't look exactly perfectly like an egg with rounded edges, but this is what we need it to look like so that it'll work in the origami to be able to move the way we want it to. So we've got my finished egg, and we have our little bird here. What I want to do is I've got this nice pocket here and here on either side. I'm going to slide that right into this part in between the head and the rear area. Just slide this part right like this, and then get this one to go in like so. And then we just want to push down so that you can't see it anymore. And just show kids this part here and say, okay, well this is a little chicken, and if you take the front layers and slowly shimmy them, and you allow gravity to help you out as you do this a little bit, and I wish I could kind of maybe it'll work even though I'm showing you guys sideways. If we just keep slowly going down, oops, he popped right out. Let's try it again and make sure you guys can see how it works, because I want you to be able to see it. I guess it does kind of get to a point where it gets free and then it just pops out by itself because it's only coming up to this middle section here. But you just gently shimmy it along, and as you slowly kind of bring it around here, you should get it to a point where it'll slowly work its way down and pop out. And then you have a little chicken that laid an egg. So cute. So I'll go ahead and tell you guys the dimensions of this guy when I'm finished. Here we've got 6.5 by 6, so just a little bit bigger than square. So 6.5 centimeters tall and 6 centimeters wide. And the egg is super tiny. It's about 2 centimeters square for the egg. And that should give you the finished little dimensions for our hen that lays an egg, which is our finished project for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.